Thanks for stopping by, welcome to the channel. Last video we replaced the ignition switch and it fixed a whole lot of electrical problems. Sadly, it didn't magically make the headlights work. Let's throw in some new lights and go from there. We've got the old style headlights. There is a ton of corrosion, as you can see. There's also just a ton of corrosion inside the plug. I'm hoping that'll still make a connection. I have the old lights left over from the newer Jeep I have. These should still work. They just have a different connector. So we bought a little thing that goes from the old style to the new style connector. Hopefully these will work. Just give these a little test run first. So we just take our end and plug in and plug in. And we'll go see if these work when I turn the lights on. Well, that's not promising at all, is it? Good. We got rear lights on. And we got both rear lights on, just no front lights. Good, good, good. It's not telling me my lights are on either, so that's not promising. Yeah, that's very much not headlights, so we're gonna need to do some things and figure out why that's not giving me a light. I had a look at it. This connection is barely even connected, but that also isn't kicking those on. I'm gonna get a voltmeter and start tracing some wires and seeing what we can do. Little update on our headlights. This is just so corroded that it broke all the wires. I can't even like actually get this apart. It's so corroded together. Hey, there we go. Probably for the best this just came off of there so we can just hardwire things. Not sure this plug would work anymore anyways. So we're just down to some wires. There's not much room here to make this work either. We'll get it figured out though. Well, given that our ignition switch was bad, I'm gonna maybe guess this switch has gone bad or there's corrosion. So let's pull this thing back apart again. I get why these are here, but why are these here? Well, no good, that's just broken now. Hey, oh, of course, plug's over here too. Let me guess, you're gonna break also when I try to pick you up. Yep, that's, oh, maybe. Good, that one didn't break at least. You just don't want to come out of here, do you? Well, just more things breaking off. There we go. I mean, there's definitely some corrosion. Oh, I don't want to replace this whole thing. My blinkers work fine now. So as you turn your headlights, it moves the switch through there. It moves some metal to contact other metal. Definitely down here we've got a whole pile of corrosion. I hate to do it, but I feel like I'm gonna need to order a new switch for this. Before I fully give up on this, it is $40 to buy this piece. I'm gonna at least pop this apart, see if I can clean some of this. Maybe it works. That's a lot of things to pop that apart, isn't it? Of course, you don't. Oh man, Jeep, why do you use hex heads on everything? Oh, there's a mess of things looking to come loose in there. Good. Okay, those are very corroded contacts. Well, that's what it's trying to run the electricity through. Even the posts and like the main part it gets electricity from is also corroded. It's at least got some dielectric grease back there, but I'm feeling good about cleaning this up and having it work out. All right, at this point I've been down here for 2 hours now. We've been scraping, cleaning, pulled this whole thing apart, got everything finally working. I went online. There's a great place called tjforums.com. Someone on there supplied a wiring diagram to this thing. Well, somewhat, at least a pin diagram. It didn't explain what all this nonsense was doing. And that's what took me 2 hours. Anyways, what happens here is we've got a whole lot of pins, and these pins go to wires. So power will come in, you click some things, and then power comes out a certain pin. Relatively simple until you're trying to operate all these pins. So our diagram shows us that if the park lamps are on, which they are when your lights are on, we should have continuity between B9 and B12. So what I'm doing with my voltmeter is it has a continuity setting. What it does, I'm gonna try and hold this to the mic. It makes a beep whenever these two come in contact with each other. So I'll use an old wire here to explain this. Put my face down by this so my mic maybe picks it up. So that contact can also be through a wire as well. These are still touching each other just through the wire. Allegedly, power would be coming in B9 and coming out B20. So if we take our continuity tester, we count over 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we put that on the 8 pin and the 20. So touching those 2 pins has continuity. The problem I had was the headlights weren't giving me any continuity. So when we turn the headlights on, B16 is supposed to give continuity to 18 and 19 both, and I was getting absolutely nothing. Anyways, we pulled this thing apart and I got this way cleaner than it was before. What I did to start was make sure I needed continuity on this board. So we got a little wild and drew a map of what should have continuity on here just to make it a little easier to test. So what's happening as you operate your headlights and stuff is you're moving pieces of copper over things on here. So as we move this down, it moves this piece of metal places on here. So at up, it's doing nothing. One down, it moves down. So this one is now connecting these two, which would be your parking lights. You move it down again, and this pops down now to where you're connecting this, which is your headlights. So on our little map here, we'll see that 18 would connect to this when you put this all the way down. I put connect here because it connects to this. So that then puts power to this one. So when we flip our lights, high and low, it turns this, which either gives us power to 16 or 17, which is what our diagram says. The problem was that connectivity wasn't happening. We started cleaning contacts and this until finally everything started working. Anyways, long story short, this all works now. If you don't have 2 to 3 hours to waste, there's a link down in the description to buy a new, just half of this. It's 40 bucks. The only reason I actually fixed, well, there's 2 reasons I fixed this. One, this wasn't getting shipped here for another 3 days. And 2, it kind of gives us the spirit of that we're making something that was getting thrown in the trash run again, and that's kind of what we're doing here. So let's head out to the Jeep and get this reinstalled. All right, let's see how much I get in your way. So first, we're gonna want that down as far as she goes. Put this back where it went. Make sure and plug our plugs back in. Well, that's a tough plug to get to. Yeah, I already know I'm in your way. All right, blinkers are back plugged in. Plug that in. Before we get going too wild, let's having some troubles with our plug. Hopefully you can see how worn out and torn up that is. Our low lamps are not really getting a good connection in here. They're 100% working on the switch. I'm gonna bend some pins here and hopefully give that a little better connection. 20, right now, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So we will give this, I mean, this whole thing's crooked and, ooh, and now broken more. I'm thinking maybe we might get one of these new too, but that's for later. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So let's make sure our contact is pushed down. Do the same with the brights. Let's give that another go. So now we've got lows and no brights, was the opposite of what we had before. I'm gonna bend some pins around and eventually make this work, hopefully. All right, now we got power up here. Next, we need to take our connector. The problem with this is these connectors are old and corroded. These are cheap and thin, so they aren't really like, maybe I'll zoom in there. Hopefully that's caught on there. These aren't really staying together. So we're just gonna cut some wires and hardwire them together. Not the right tool, but it's the one that's here. And it worked well enough. Yeah, that is just corrosion falling out of that thing. Woo, that's corroded clear down on the wire. Oh, that's definitely don't want to just replace all the wiring in here. All right, we got our 3-in-1, you tell me how you say this word. Wago. Yep. Anyway, since we have a total of 3 wires, I'm definitely using these. There we go. I feel like my hand's probably right in your way. Give those a pull, make sure they're on there. That's so corroded it's just breaking as I try and strip it. Great. There, we maybe found some real metal. Oh man. So then our old plug that went in, we'll just snip this too and do the same thing. These colors almost match up. Red to red, black to black, blue goes to purple. Well, that's in there forever. So we got blue going into purple. She's in there. We got red going to red. She's in there. We got ground going to ground. We've got some little things that stick out that fit into the frame here. Also, words go up is another easy way to do that. So we'll push this until we can kind of find, there we go, it all clicked together. Jam our ring on, figure out where where are you? Over there, two, if you're closer. There we go. So the screws covered in rust, as I remember, were the ones holding this in. Oh, don't you fall. This only has 3 because one of these tabs is broken off. Yep, we'll bend that out of the way. Then we're just plugging this into the light. You're plugging in a light. And then it's done. Let's go see if we actually have lights. Indeed we do. That looks like 2 lights that light up. We are legal to drive. All we have left is, I believe, the left blinker is out. And then everything will be fixed. Last piece is putting these bezels back in here. The wide part goes to the front, I think. This might be the wrong one. Oh, hey, yeah, I think we figured it out. No, we didn't. So my non-rusty shiny ones were what was in there. I'll slap those in. You know, we got to keep this Jeep looking nice with this chrome. Don't mind. Just ignore that there. But the chrome, did you see this chrome? It's looking good, looking shiny. This is practically a show car at this point. There we go, lights are done. Last thing we have is this blinker's been a little weird. I put a new bulb in it, but it stopped working last night. This is just two Torx heads, of course, because of Jeep. Let's put Torx on everything. So all you do is you just pull this out, this twists, and you got a light bulb. Let me go turn the keys on and I'll show you what's going on here. Hopefully you can see both these marker lights are on. The problem is if you even that much, like the light is obviously turning off, then also with the blinkers, you can see this is blinking, this isn't. If you press it sort of some other different ways, the blinker will kick on and work correctly. The problem is, as you drive, this just bumps around and it stops working. I'm really hoping it's just this. I've pushed on all these wires, and it only seems to do it when you move this bulb. So we're gonna pull this off and put a cheap one we got back on. I need to wash that light bulb too, because it's real mad. I can smell it burning all that oil. Also, you're kind of supposed to keep these bulbs mostly clean. I could smell it burning the oil off after I touch that. Little safety clip on this side. Little safety clip on this side, and then we pull it apart. It's the one clean thing on the Jeep because this is a waterproof connector. We'll put this together and see how this one acts in here. Well, that's a good sign. It's almost too tight to put in here. There's less play. Why don't you guys tell me what's going on here and if it works. I got lights on. Well, that light's on. Let's, yep, we can move that around all we want. It doesn't do anything. I'll put a link down in the description to this piece for you too. So again, you want to try and make sure these bulbs stay somewhat clean. At least of oil on your hands. This goes back together exactly the way you pulled it apart. Click, push, put some screws in. Heck yeah, we finally got all the lights working. Well, maybe not the reverse lights, but that's a problem for later. If you liked the video, check out the playlist down in the description. It'll show you how we got this running in the first place. There's also links down there to all the tools and parts we used. They really help out the channel if you use them. Now that I've got lights, I can drive at night. I can actually go on an adventure, get out there, and see the stars!